Welcome to Crown TV. Immerse yourself with a captivating audio from our stories. We provide an alternative way to read books in audio. We upload many audiobooks as possible, from bestsellers to timeless classic. Subscribe and stay tuned for new upload.
66. A Loving Deception. Well, a friend of mine wants to come over later. He likes me a lot, but he doesn't dare tell me. I just want to have someone pretend to be a robber and beat me up, so my friend can play the part of the knight in shining armor. That may make him confess his love for me, Rose said to Kelly. Both Kelly and Sharon, who were sitting by the lake, were shocked. Don't be so surprised. I can't help it. This person likes me very much, but I'm too thin-skinned. I'm a girl. I can't tell him how I feel about him. Even if I wanted to confess, it would have to be in the right environment. So I asked someone to help me by playing a part. In reality, Rose didn't feel shy at all. Alex was a super rich guy, apparently with dozens of identities, and she was more than willing to go after someone like that, even if she embarrassed herself in the process. Don't you think that's deceiving him? Kelly asked in a soft voice. No, I don't think so. I know that he really likes me, and I like him too. In the end, we'll be together. But the process is too long. I'm going to use this method as a catalyst, just to speed things up. How could you say that's cheating him? Rose said after thinking about it. She turned to Kelly, admiring her beauty. She could tell that she was a rich girl. Don't you have someone you like? She asked her casually. Rose's question stunned Kelly and confused her for a moment. Naturally, there was someone she liked, but he was from a much better background and was 100 times wealthier than she was. Also, he had been trying to push her aside. Of course she likes someone, and the person she likes is a rich man. Even the boss of the Ferrari company is respectful toward him when he sees him, but this person does not. Seeing that Kelly hadn't said anything, Sharon had started speaking for her, but she couldn't bear to go on. All she said in the end was, Kelly's here today to see the person she likes. Oh dear. Looking at Kelly and Sharon's troubled expressions, Rose had already guessed that something must have gone wrong between Kelly and her love interest. She grabbed her hand in sympathy. Your eyes are red. You must have cried for that person so many times. If you don't help me now, I'm afraid I'll just have grief and sorrow like yours to look forward to. Are you sure you don't want to help me pull this off? Okay, but let's not talk about it. Rose's words had tugged Kelly's heartstrings. She knew that the kind of lovesickness she was suffering was too painful. She didn't want any other girl in the world to go through something like that. Great, thank you. Kelly, if we become friends later, I'll give you an expensive car, Rose said with a smile. Kelly smiled back indifferently. She didn't care about any car. The only gift she was interested in was for the man she liked to give her a ray of hope. Your boyfriend must be from a good family. What's his name? She asked Rose. He really is wealthy and from a top family. I don't mind telling you his name. It's Alex, Rose said with a smile. Alex. Both Kelly and Sharon were shocked. You say Alex likes? Sharon started to ask Rose if what she had said was true, but Kelly held her back. What were you going to say? You don't know Alex, do you? Rose asked her. No, we don't know him. Kelly's heart suddenly felt heavy. She thought that if she admitted that she did, she wouldn't be able to meet Alex that day. Well, the person I want to see is coming soon. You can go and prepare for your own meeting, she said. Okay, I won't disturb you. I wish you luck with your man, Rose said with a smile and left. Kelly, that girl said Alex likes her, Sharon muttered, looking at Kelly anxiously. Isn't it normal that a lot of people would like him since he's such a good man? Kelly bit her lips, and her eyes started overflowing again. Sharon sighed and didn't know what to say. No matter how it turned out, after meeting Alex today, Kelly would have to give up on him. Look, he's here. That moment, Sharon saw Alex coming from a distance. He was walking toward Kelly along the edge of the lake. His mood was complex and heavy. Kelly, called out to her. Kelly slowly turned around and saw Alex's face. She truly was infatuated. She looked at him in silence. Her eyes reflected resentment, reluctance, and helplessness, but mostly deep love. At that moment, the tall man in the bushes saw Alex and muttered in a low voice, "The boy that the beauty loves is a loser." "You're not a loser. What's your qualification to look down on a loser?" Rose, annoyed at the tall man, glanced at the lake. When she saw Alex, she did a double take. How can it be him? How can it be him? Rose wondered. It seemed that Alex had lied to her when he had said that he didn't want to meet her at 9 in the morning because it was too early, and he might not get up in time. But it turned out that he was seeing Kelly at 9 o'clock. Rose's heart was in shreds. Is Alex in love with that girl or with me? No, it must be me. He's been so good to me, she thought. She didn't dare to think about what sort of relationship he had with Kelly. Her heart was in turmoil. You're here. Kelly held back her tears and made herself laugh, but there was still a hint of sadness in her voice. I'm here. Are you okay? Alex thought Kelly looked haggard, and his heart softened. Good. Kelly laughed and sobbed at the same time. Thank you for coming to see me. We can stay here by the lake for a while, and then I'll invite you out to dinner later. Kelly wanted to control her voice, but since seeing Alex, she had begun to choke and tremble. Looking at her like this, Alex was really distressed and worried. He clenched his hands behind his back. No, I'm catching a train at 11 o'clock. After meeting you, I'm leaving New York, Alex said. Kelly's smile stiffened. She asked, Is it to go to her? Yes. This one word made Kelly feel like she was falling into a void. Sharon held her and murmured, Kelly. Rose, who had overheard their dialogue, asked herself, This man? Who is this man? Who is he going to look for? He doesn't seem like himself. No, he likes me. He's not looking for anyone. That's just an excuse he's using to turn Kelly down. Alex, I want to ask you, haven't you got space in your heart for other people? Kelly already knew the answer, but she didn't want to die. Kelly, 8 out of 10 things in this world bring unhappiness. You better think about that, Alex said with a deep sigh. Kelly closed her eyes, and 2 tears slipped out. She repeated Alex's words in a whisper. 8 out of 10 things are unsatisfactory. 8 out of 10 things bring unhappiness. She opened her eyes and caught a glimpse of Rose standing under the trees. She realized that the girl had also misunderstood Alex, and an idea suddenly appeared in her mind. If there's a girl deeply in love with you who, in order to make you fall in love with her, deliberately asks someone to act out a violent scene to let you be the hero who rescues her, and later she confesses her actions to you, would you accept her? Kelly asked. She was asking for Rose and herself. No, I wouldn't, Alex replied, shaking his head. Kelly looked at Rose quietly, hoping that she had overheard Alex's words, so as not to waste her time and increase his sorrow. Rose shook her head. She still thought she was the person that he liked. If you'd met me first instead of Debbie, would you like me? Kelly asked him. remembering again what he had said about unhappiness arising in 8 cases out of 10. I don't know. Alex was stunned, as he had never thought about it. If there was no Debbie in the world, would you like me? I don't know. There's no if in the world. Alex was very confused. Ah. Kelly's tears changed into a smile. She went over to him. I've seen the answer in your eyes. If there were no Debbie, you would like me. If you'd met me first, you wouldn't have fallen in love with Debbie. I just lost you to bad timing. Alex was stunned and didn't reply. Thank you, Kelly tearfully said with a smile. You've let me know that I'm in your heart. I'm your second favorite woman, which makes me very satisfied. Debbie? How can it be? Alex likes me. Among the trees, Rose's skull was about to explode. She didn't want to believe the conversation that was taking place between Kelly and Alex, but she felt a growing uneasiness. By then, she couldn't stop herself any longer. She wanted to ask Alex a question. Alex! Rose cried out and emerged from under the trees. But wait, you... The tall man who was hiding nearby was wondering why she had gone out without telling him. He quickly put the silk stocking over his head and prepared to carry out the task that Rose had told him. Rose? Seeing Rose appear, Alex was surprised. Alex is the person you like? Rose wanted to ask Alex whether the woman he loved was her or Debbie. But before she could finish her sentence, a hand shot out from behind her and covered her mouth. Ah, what a beautiful girl. Come to a hotel with me to have a good time, said the tall man, following Rose's previous instructions. He tightened his hands around her neck. Let go of her. Alex was shocked, and he was about to run to the rescue. But suddenly, what Kelly had said a short while ago flashed through his mind. If there's a girl deeply in love with you who deliberately asks someone to act out a violent scene... Alex glanced at Kelly and knew that the woman she had referred to was Rose. He couldn't help but look at Rose with hatred, and then he said to Kelly, Everything between us should be settled by now. I'm leaving. With that, he nodded at Kelly and walked away. Episode 167, The Search Begins. Little girl, come back to the hotel with me. The tall man was still pretending to assault Rose. Seeing Alex walk away without looking back, he also called out to him in a loud voice. Hello, I'm going to take this beautiful girl to my hotel. Let her roll on the big bed with me. What's the matter? I performed very well. The tall man looked at Alex's departing figure and asked, Rose, how come it didn't work? He released her from his grasp, and Rose slapped him in the face and then beat him up a bit more. Infuriated by her actions, he slapped her back, making her stagger and almost fall to the ground. You bitch! I'm just here to help you act out a scene. Do you eat dynamite for lunch? Do you still want to trick that handsome guy? He made it quite clear that he likes a girl named Debbie. You should be ashamed to say he loves you deeply. Aren't you disgraceful? Stupid women like you deserve to be ignored. After getting that off his chest, the tall man walked away, muttering to himself. Rose stood rooted to the spot as she realized that the girl in Alex's heart was not her, but a girl named Debbie. When she left Ramsey Lake, it was with dull eyes, like a walking corpse. Kelly didn't pay any attention to what had happened to Rose. When Alex's figure disappeared in the distance, the tears that she had been holding back finally started rolling down her cheeks. One by one, they dripped down to her chin and onto the grass. Sharon held her tightly. Watching her shake and cry inconsolably, It seemed that she was about to rupture something inside. Sharon could only pat her on the back and comfort her in a low voice. She could only hope that Kelly would forget all about Alex. At 11 o'clock, Alex got on the high-speed train to Washington, D.C. 2 hours later, he arrived. Coming out of the bustling railway station, he bought a combined bus and subway pass at the Metro subway station. He felt that with so many people taking public transport, he had more opportunities to find Debbie. With the transport card in hand, Alex immediately started his search. He took the subway according to the route he had designed on the train, from the Red Line over to the Orange Line, with a few bus rides built in, traversing the metropolitan area from Northeast Washington to Fairfax. It took Alex more than 3 hours to visit the areas. When he was on the bus, on the subway, or even walking from one bus stop to another, Alex would pay special attention to the people around him, for fear that he would brush past Debbie without noticing. He got off the train again at a subway station in Arlington. After walking for such a long time, he was hungry, and he remembered that he hadn't eaten lunch. Standing on a broad central avenue in the bustling suburb, he looked around for a casual place to eat. As he wandered down the street, a fragrant smell reached his nostrils. He saw a food truck with a sign advertising burgers, pancakes, and more. Beside the truck was a small cart selling vegetables. Alex remembered that when he was with Debbie, he often bought them food at a food truck. He couldn't help but walk toward it. While he was approaching, he saw a buxom girl standing behind the vehicle, arguing with an old man. The closer Alex got, the more serious the quarrel became. "I've given you the money. Why don't you go? Are you trying to steal my money?" The girl, who was wearing an apron, cursed the old man. "No, the eggs are $3 and $5, which is $15 in total. You should give me $52, $5. You only gave $45 and still owe me $7, $5. The old man was pulling the girl's leg to collect money. "You ass! I've always paid $3.15 for your eggs. Take the money and go away. Stop disrupting my business," the girl said sharply. "What? $3.15? That's what they cost a month ago, and prices go up. If you can't afford it, give me back the eggs, and I'll sell them to somebody else." The old man tried to snatch back the carton of eggs the girl had taken. "Go away. These eggs are already mine. Take the money and go." The girl kept the eggs and refused to be manipulated by him. "Why are you so unreasonable? Today I won't let you have them." The old man also seemed to be in a hurry. By then, Alex had reached the food truck and stood in front of him. "Hey there, beautiful, don't be so impulsive," Alex said to the girl as he pulled the old man away. "This little girl is bullying me. I'm going to smash her eggs and do some damage to her food truck. Young man, let me go." The old man was so angry that he was chomping at the bit to fight with the girl. "Who's bullying who? Come back here if you have the courage. If you dare to kick my truck, I'm not responsible for what I'll do to you," the girl shouted, pointing her finger at the man. Alex couldn't help but sigh as he frowned at the girl. "Here, I'll give you the money she owes you." Alex thought it wasn't worth making such a fuss over a few dollars. "This little girl's attitude really pisses me off. Do I care about the money? If I don't smash her snack truck today, I'll not be able to forgive myself." The old man seemed to need payback. "Do you think this is okay? Look, I'll give you $100 if you forget all this and just walk away," Alex said, after thinking for a moment about how to best handle the situation. "Let go of me. It's no use saying anything." Oh, wait a minute. How much did you say? $100, Alex repeated with a smile. "You're not teasing me, are you?" The old man's attention was no longer on the girl. When Alex let go of him, he looked at Alex in disbelief. With a faint smile, Alex took out his mobile phone and pointed to a QR code sign on the old man's vegetable cart. "Is this your payment code? I'll transfer it to you," he said. scanning the code and sending him the money. Thank you, you're so bright. The old man bowed to Alex and took some carrots and lettuce from the cart and pressed them into his arms. Take these, they're all from my own farm. After Alex declined, the old man happily pushed his cart over to a beat-up car, hooked it up, drove away. Why did you help me? The girl asked, staring at Alex. For no reason in particular. You shouldn't bully him, you know, Alex replied with a trace of solemnity. For the first time, he got a good look at the girl's face. Her short hair was scorched, her skin was discolored, and there were scars on her face. It looked like she might have been in a fire. There was also some inflammation and a few open sores. In other words, she was really ugly. You seem to enjoy bullying him. What's wrong with you? Alex said to her, making the girl angry. Okay, forget it, he added, sighing. It seemed that the girl had a bad temper. I'd better stop talking to her, he thought. Make me a pancake with ham and shredded potatoes on the side, he said. I won't, the girl flatly refused. You won't make it for me? I didn't provoke you. Alex was really angry. He had helped her out, and now he just wanted her to make him a pancake. Her attitude was atrocious. You cared about me. I love what you did, but I won't do anything I don't want to do. She seemed to think there was nothing wrong with her reaction. Okay. Alex didn't want to talk to her anymore. He was tired from walking. He tore a piece of paper from a notebook in his backpack and put it on the curb, where he sat down in a huff to have a rest. He sat on the curb for 20 minutes. During that period, 5 or 6 passers-by came to buy food from the girl. He observed that when she took the eggs, her eyes flashed. It seemed that she thought that she had the eggs thanks to his help. He felt that she might have repented a little. By then he had rested enough and was ready to take the bus to other places to continue his search, but his stomach was growling. He stood up, went over to the girl, and said politely, Please, can you make me a pancake now? Go away. She acted like a cat whose tail had been trampled on. Why are you so shameless? Get out of here. Don't let me see you again. I'd feed the pancakes to a dog before giving you any. I just want to eat a pancake. What have you got against me? What's wrong with you? I know I'm not good looking. Do you want to continue poking fun at me? Believe it or not, if you call me beautiful again, I'll take this pan and hit you over the head, she said angrily. Alex was stunned. In school, no matter how beautiful or ugly the girls were, or how old they were, they called them all beautiful. Alex had just said that earlier out of habit. But realizing that the girl mistakenly thought that he had been mocking her, he felt very ashamed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mock you. I'm a college student. In school, it's a term we use for everybody. Anyway, I'm obviously not what you think, Alex said in his apology. Really? The girl saw his sincerity and felt less angry. Okay, I believe you, but I hate it when people comment on others' looks. People are born with their appearance. You're good looking. All I can say to you is that you're lucky, and have no right to laugh at others. Alex had been ridiculed as a loser many times. He could understand the girl's mood. Well, as you can see, I'm not qualified to laugh at you when I dress like this. Alex wore a very ordinary outfit. He didn't own many good clothes. In addition, he had been walking at top speed for more than 3 hours, so he was sweaty and covered in dust. He looked like a poor little loser. Episode 168, A Chance Encounter. The girl laughed. Alex's words had reached her heart. She looked at him intently and said with a smile, You are a little loser. Hey, beautiful. Hey, girl. Are you not angry with me anymore? Seeing her smile, he relaxed a little. If you don't laugh at me, why should I be angry at you? The girl said as she glanced at him. That's good to hear. If you're busy, I'll leave you to it. Alex waved his hand and started walking away. Wait, don't you want pancakes? You'll make them for me? Alex asked in surprise. The girl didn't answer. She had already scooped a ladle full of batter from a bowl, poured it onto the grill, made it around with the back of a spoon. Alex's heart warmed up, and he walked back to the food truck's counter. An appetizing aroma reached him. You're a very skilled cook, and they smell delicious, he said to her. There's nothing to it. If you go to a training class for a couple of days, you can learn how to make them. But if you don't develop the skills, so much the better for me. It keeps me from starving to death, the girl said while flipping the pancakes. Don't you have someone taking care of you at home? Alex thought her comment was very strange. Although the girl was ugly, she didn't look any older than 17 or 18. She didn't go to school, as she worked at a food truck. Her family was too irresponsible. I don't have a family, she said faintly as her expression soured. Alex was surprised. Although he was very curious, he felt that she didn't want to talk about it, so he didn't ask. Do you want syrup? The girl was fast and efficient, and in about a minute, pancakes were nearly ready. Alex nodded, and she poured some syrup over them. By the way, you don't look very rich. How come you gave that old man $100? Alex felt that there was no point in hiding anything from her, so he said, I am rich. I just don't dress well. $100 means nothing to me. Oh, you little loser. As soon as you've made a good impression, you start to brag, right? Okay, aren't you rich? I'll give you the pancakes for free. Do you believe me or not? Alex asked. He didn't need to prove anything to the girl. After a few mouthfuls, he solved the problem of payment by sweeping up around the food truck. What's your name? Do you work here? The girl asked. My name is Alex, and I've come to Washington to find my girlfriend, he said. Your name is not a good name, said the girl, puzzling Alex. What's wrong with my name? He wondered. My name is Nellie Lane. I hope you can find your girlfriend soon. Alex waved goodbye to Nellie and set off to look for Debbie. By 7 in the evening, Alex had not come across any trace of her. But he wasn't discouraged. The Washington, D.C. area was huge, so he knew it wouldn't be easy to find someone. Before setting off on his trip, he had already prepared himself for a protracted search. He ate a meal, and as soon as it was dark, he was ready to find a hotel for the night. Alex walked into the Crown Hotel next to the train station. He thought it was a bit too luxurious. But there weren't that many people around, and he liked the quiet. A receptionist approached him while he was still at the door. Hello, sir. Are you staying in our hotel? The man asked with a smile. The Crown was one of the top hotels in D.C., and it was conveniently located near the train station. It was much more expensive than the other establishments in the area. As soon as the receptionist noticed Alex's clothes, he realized that this was not the kind of person they catered to. Subtly, he told them, if the manager sees someone walking around the lobby who is not a guest at the hotel, he will probably ask that person to leave, as otherwise it affects our image. The receptionist thought that Alex would get the message, and that he was helping him to avoid embarrassment if he couldn't afford to pay for a room. He thought that Alex should understand what he meant. I want to get a room, Alex said with a smile and walked in. The receptionist was slightly stunned. He looked at Alex, but decided that when he saw the prices, he would leave in dismay anyway. The lobby of the hotel was really splendid. It reeked of money. The people walking around were beautifully dressed. At first glance, they seemed to be successful business people. Alex looked at his reflection in a mirror and realized that he didn't fit in with the surroundings. He smiled to himself. Although the hotel looked good, it wasn't as grand as Sam's Berkeley Hotel. Alex was thinking of heading to the front desk to check in when he heard a voice behind him. Alex? He looked in the direction the voice was coming from and saw a beautiful woman with long hair down to her shoulders and uncertainty wrote on her face. She was wearing a cream-colored one-piece suit and 3-inch heels. She looked clean and well put together. Beside her stood a tall man. Alex frowned as he couldn't remember who she was. It really is you, Alex, the woman said in surprise after she got a better look at him. Are you Miriam Henley? When she smiled, Alex recognized her. She was his high school hall monitor. I didn't expect to find you here. Alex was surprised to run into her in Washington and immediately walked over to his old friend. In high school, because he had been very poor, most of his classmates had looked down on him. Like at university, he was often ridiculed. Only a few students had gotten along well with him. Miriam had been one of them. Alex remembered that she would often tutor him in his senior year, and her academic support helped him get into Preston University. He walked over to her and reached out to shake her hand, but Miriam didn't acknowledge the gesture. He pulled his hand back angrily. You're looking fantastic. I almost didn't recognize you. You're much more beautiful than you were in high school, Alex said with a smile. You mean I didn't look good in high school? Miriam said with a snort and sneered. Alex was stunned by the hostility in her words and felt that she had changed a lot. I didn't mean that. I mean, you were beautiful in high school and now you're even more beautiful. You really can talk, she said sarcastically. I didn't expect that you would become so glib after spending a couple of years in New York. Alex was speechless, but he smiled. You're in college, right? He asked, changing the subject. He had not seen her since graduating from high school and had no idea what she'd been up to. Alex's question instantly put her in a bad mood. During the college entrance examination, Miriam had become increasingly irritated because the ink wasn't flowing properly from her pen. As a result, she failed mathematics and didn't do well in English either. And because of that, she lost her chance to get into the colleges of her choice. Miriam had heard people saying behind her back that she was spending every day teaching Alex how to answer the exam questions. In the end, she lost out, and Alex made it into Preston University. It was said at the time that she was a fool and had given her scores to him. Miriam hated the classmates who had said those words, but she couldn't help but feel resentment toward Alex. She felt that she was the one who should have gone to Preston. Alex had stolen her university from her. Lower East College, are you satisfied? Miriam sneered at Alex and told him again that she thought he was being deliberately sarcastic. What college? Alex was surprised. He thought that Miriam had been admitted to a top university. Where's Lower East College? I've never heard of it, he thought. One of the two worst. Are you satisfied? Does that make you happy? Miriam sneered. What are you talking about? Miriam, how could I be happy? Are you misunderstanding me? He thought that Miriam's reaction was abnormal. She was the one who had offered to help him in high school. He hadn't forced her to do it. You thief, you're just pretending, Miriam said bitterly. Thinking that her future had been destroyed by Alex, her heart was still bleeding. Alex was left speechless again. He was sure that Miriam had misunderstood him. At this point, he knows what to say. What are you doing here? Is this where you're staying? Don't you feel like you ought to get going? Miriam said coldly. She had heard about Alex from some former classmates. He was considered a lousy loser at Preston University. What's he doing in a fine hotel like this? She wondered. Alex sighed heavily. Miriam's tone was too hateful. Obviously, I came to the hotel to book a room. A room? Miriam laughed. Alex, look at your clothes. This is way out of your budget. You obviously didn't go home for summer vacation. Did you come all the way from New York to Washington to find work here? I've heard from other students that you pay for your living expenses by working during your vacations. How much money can you earn by working 2 months? $4,000, $5,000? Is that the sort of money you earn? Do you know how much it costs to stay at the Crown Hotel for one night? Miriam looked at him contemptuously. 4,000 or 5,000? What's wrong with that? Alex said faintly, thinking how unpleasant Miriam was. In New York, he stayed at the Berkeley Hotel and at the Azalea Guest House, which was more expensive than the Crown. Oh, you seem so relaxed. It seems that $4,000 or $5,000 doesn't mean anything to you. This hotel is really cheap for you, isn't it? The cheapest room is actually only $2,000. Miriam assumed that Alex was in Washington to find work, which proved that he didn't have much money. He clearly didn't have any idea of the prices of the hotel, and there was no way he was going to be able to afford a room. Baby, who is this guy? The man beside Miriam asked her. He was wearing a white t-shirt and blue jeans. He looked like a hip-hop singer. He was Miriam's boyfriend, Jake Grant. This guy? Miriam sneered. She looked at Alex with a terrible smile in her eyes. He's the high school classmate I told you about who stole my college dream. In high school, he was a lousy loser. Often, all he ate was bread in the morning, at noon, and in the evening. He was so poor that he didn't even have the money to buy notebooks. In order to save paper, he used pencils instead of pens, so he could erase what he wrote and reuse the pages. He could also write in the front and back covers. Honey, do you think you could stay at the Crown Hotel for one night? Episode 169, An Embarrassing Situation. So, it turns out that this is the guy you've complained to me about so often, Jake said to Miriam, pointing at Alex in surprise. He looked him up and down and snorted contemptuously. Miriam gave you every opportunity to attend a good university. I see that you're dressed appallingly, so you don't look like you're doing too well at college. You're such a disappointment to Miriam. Don't you feel guilty? What? Alex didn't understand the meaning of Miriam gave you every opportunity to attend a good university. He didn't want to be near Miriam anymore, so he went over to the front desk. I'd like to see how you pay, Miriam muttered, as she and Jake followed behind him. Hello, I'd like one of your better rooms, please, Alex said to the receptionist. Well, I can offer you a large, elegant room with a king-size bed. Would that be all right? Although the front desk lady also had her doubts about Alex, she was polite, and Alex nodded. Sir, the price of the room is $2,300 a night. The front desk lady motioned for Alex to pay up front. If he can afford it, I'm seeing flying saucers, Miriam said. She and Jake had walked up beside Alex. They looked at him with wicked smiles, and Miriam turned to the receptionist. I would advise you to be more perceptive about people who come up to you, so as not to waste everyone's time. Because otherwise you can spend a lot of time talking to someone, and then it turns out they don't have the money to pay. The front desk lady could only reply with a weak smile. Alex was getting angrier and angrier. He stared at Miriam for several seconds. Look, are you taking the room or not? We're waiting to check in. Will you hurry up? Miriam glared back at Alex. Alex couldn't help sneering. Okay. Didn't you say I couldn't afford a room? I'll get the most expensive room for today, just because of you. After all, I have my Metro Sky Bank card, and it has millions of dollars on it. Miss, please give me the most expensive room you have here, Alex said to the lady at the desk. The receptionist was stunned. She doubted that Alex could afford to pay for the elegant room with the king-size bed, let alone the most expensive one. Sir, in fact, the elegant room is also quite wonderful. Have you heard that, Alex? The front desk lady doesn't believe your lies, yet you're threatening to book the most expensive room here. You're going to make us die laughing. Miriam sneered. You'd better see if you can afford the elegant room first. This man is really out of his mind, miss. I think you'd better ask the security guard to come over and remove him from the premises, Jake said with a smile. The front desk lady decided that if Alex was deliberately messing with her, she would call security. Alex didn't say anything. He removed his backpack, took out a card wallet, pulled out his Metro Sky card, put it between his fingers, and extended it to the front desk lady. Can you give me my key now? Alex, don't be foolish. You've come to D.C. for work. Don't you realize that if you stay here for just one night, you'll spend half your earnings? You're so stupid. I really don't understand how you got into Preston University, Miriam said. Seeing the card in Alex's hand, the front desk lady was shocked. She was familiar with the various bank cards and recognized the Metro Sky Supreme card. The only people who got that card were those with $30 million in their personal accounts, which meant that the young man in front of her was worth at least that. Sir, I was being impolite. I'll handle it for you now. I'd like to tell you about the most luxurious presidential suite in our hotel. It has 2 king-size beds. Hello, miss. What are you doing? Miriam didn't understand why the woman's attitude had changed so much. Jake held her back. He had also seen the Metro Sky card in Alex's hand and was flustered. What's the matter? Miriam was still a college student and didn't know anything about that prestigious card. The card in his hand is the Metro Sky Supreme card. You only qualify for one of those when you have a minimum of $30 million in your account. He's not a poor loser, but a multi-millionaire. Who told you to scold him just now? Now what can you do? Jake was rattled and suddenly quite shy. Oh! Miriam was surprised, and her heart skipped a beat. How could she have guessed that Alex would have millions of dollars to his name? She was deeply worried when she thought about how rude she had been to him just now. When she saw Jake looking at her reproachfully, she said in a low voice, Why are you looking at me like that? How could I have known that he had so much money? Jake stared at her. He stealthily glanced at Alex. Seeing that he wasn't looking, Jake quietly pulled on Miriam's sleeve and signaled to her to leave quietly with him. They walked away cautiously as if they were thieves to avoid attracting Alex's attention. But Alex wasn't blind. He didn't know what they were doing. He just didn't want to argue with them. There is no need to tell me anything more. I'll just take the room, Alex said to the receptionist. Okay, I'll set it up for you right now. The lady took Alex's card and began to swipe it. She suddenly raised her head and said, Sir, your card can't be used. Alex was shocked, as were Miriam and Jake, who were still within hearing distance. Could you please try it again? Alex remembered that he had used the card that very afternoon to pay $100 to the man who had been bothering the pancake girl. It had worked just fine. Really, sir, I've tried it 3 times. Your card just can't be used. It shows that your account has been frozen. The front desk lady put the bank card on the counter. Do you have any other cards I can run through? Just a moment. Alex had no other cards. He took out his cell phone to call the manager of Metro Sky to ask what was going on. Seeing that Alex's card was useless, Miriam and Jake looked at each other and stopped walking away. Hello, manager. What's wrong with my card? Oh, Mr. Ambrose, I'm really sorry. 2 hours ago, I received a message from your family asking for all your funds to be frozen, so, Robert Miller said in a conversational tone. Alex was puzzled. He couldn't understand why his family had frozen his account again. Do you want a room, sir? Asked the receptionist. Please wait a moment. Alex replied politely. He was just about to call Ken Stokes to ask what was going on when he received a call from Ken. Mr. Ambrose, your family's not happy with the large-scale use of family resources to search for Miss Debbie Stonehill. The family called and said that I should suspend the search for Miss Debbie. They also said that you shouldn't waste your time on useless things. That you should go back to New York to manage your business. They said that if you don't listen, you will not be able to use a cent of the family's assets. That's ridiculous. Looking for Debbie is the most important thing in the world to me. If that's how the family feels, let them feel that way. Alex gave a cold smile. Mr. Ambrose, please think about it carefully. If you continue to search for Miss Debbie in person, none of the family members, including me, will give you any help. If you come back here, although I can no longer use the full resources of the East Coast Division to help you find her, I can use 1/5 of the resources and the family will not say anything. That's better and more effective than you looking for Miss Debbie alone, Ken said. Well, thank you for your kindness, Mr. Stokes, but I still want to continue searching for Debbie myself, Alex said calmly. In that case, I hope you find her as soon as possible. Maybe in the future, when you call again, your subordinates might not answer the phone, Ken said with a sigh. Alex ended the call. Alex, how did your call go? Miriam had already walked back with Jake triumphantly. Although she couldn't understand the references to family and Debbie or anything, she knew that Alex couldn't pay the room fee. Alex rummaged through his backpack to see if there was any cash he could take out. But he went through it twice and found only about a couple of $100. He sighed and thought it would be better if he traveled with more cash on him. Well, miss, I'll not be staying here. Excuse me. Alex felt embarrassed as he put the card away in his bag. Didn't you just say that $4,000 or $5,000 meant nothing to you? That you had to stay in the most expensive presidential suite? Miriam said with a sneer. I thought he really had a Metro Sky Supreme card. It turned out to be a fake. He took out the card, even though he knew it couldn't be used. I was really surprised at his low IQ, Jake said, no longer flustered. Why are you still here if you haven't got the money? Don't you think you should leave? Or do you really want the hotel security to come over and chase you out? Miriam said in a loud voice. Alex didn't want to quarrel with Miriam in the hotel. He put on his backpack. With Miriam and Jake sneering at him, he walked out of the Crown Hotel. Oh, he's finally left. As I tried to say before, that loser should develop a bit of self-awareness. How dare he come rushing in here pretending that he belonged? The receptionist by the entrance door muttered scornfully at Alex's departing figure. Out on the street, Alex realized that he would have to rely on his strengths to find Debbie. However, when he thought about how much time they'd been together, he knew he had to keep his spirits up. God would guide them to meet. Alex didn't feel that sad. Handsome boy, do you want to stay in our hotel? Out of nowhere, a woman came up to him holding a sign that said, Accommodations. Episode 170, Alex and the Pimp. Alex knew that he had less than $200 on him. He thought it would be a good idea to go with this woman and save some money. Okay, Alex nodded. Come with me, the woman said. Young man, your accent tells me you're not from around here. Have you come to Washington looking for work? She asked, leading him through the crowd. Alex was speechless. Why did everyone think he was a wage earner? What the hell, he decided, and answered, Yes. Do you have any friends or relatives here? No. Then you're very brave, coming to Washington without any support. She looked back at him and laughed. By then, she was leading through a badly lit street. Are we near? Alex suddenly felt a little uneasy. The place was so dark that it seemed dangerous. We're almost there. It's not a fancy place. We only charge $25 a night. You know, in the Crown Hotel opposite the railway station, they charge $2,000 or $3,000 a night. As soon as she looked at Alex's face, she knew what he was thinking. By the way, do you have money? A little, but not much. Alex refrained from asking her how much she had. Oh, are you afraid that I'll rob you of your money? She smiled. They were walking through an alley where 3 older women with heavy makeup were hanging out. They started teasing him. Handsome boy, do you come to play? Hey you, do you like my sister? Hey cutie, how about coming into my house and doing some business? Even though Alex had no experience in that field, he knew that these women were hookers. Well, madam, I think we'll forget all about it. Thank you. Alex felt that the situation was not good and wanted to leave. Hey, you're scared. But I don't have these sorts of people around. My place only has serious guests. The woman took Alex by the hand. Okay, Alex nodded. The woman had already accompanied him from the train station area, and it didn't seem appropriate to turn his back on her. As long as she ran a serious place, he would stay there. They soon arrived, and he followed her in. He was surprised when he saw 5 or 6 women perched on a sofa by the door. They were all in their 20s or 30s and were dressed like the hookers they had walked past in the alley. It was a whorehouse. You said... Alex looked at the woman. Oh, what's the matter? Although I have all this here, I didn't say I'd let you play. You just get a room for sleeping in. Give me your ID card. She prevaricated. No, I'd better find another place. I'm sorry. Alex didn't dare spend the night there. He was ready to leave. Well, young man, are you deliberately teasing me? I've come with you all the way from the train station. If you told me earlier that you wouldn't want to stay, I wouldn't have brought you, she said viciously with a smile, and pointed in the direction of the station. It's not that I've changed my mind. It's that you didn't tell me the truth. I wouldn't feel comfortable staying here. I'm sorry, I'm going. Alex tried to leave, but she held out his arm. Stinky boy, what's the matter? If you come in through my door, don't plan on just walking out. Finally, the woman was showing her true face. She called out, Hey, Bert, come out. There's someone who's trying to run away. Who dares run away? A man in his 40s came into the room. He was bald, nearly naked, with a big beer belly and a dragon tattooed on his chest. Alex was afraid that he had fallen into a den of thieves. Well, young man, you didn't think I told you the truth? Then I'll tell you the truth now, he said with a sneer. This is a brothel. If you come here to stay, you have to pick a beautiful woman to sleep with. They don't charge a lot. You just do as I tell you. Tomorrow morning I'll let you leave safely without a word. Do you want money? I'll give you $100 and I'll leave. Is that all right? Alex didn't want to have anything more to do with these people, and he was willing to spend $100 to get out. No, you have to find a girl to sleep with you after you give me the money, or else you might go to the police station. If you go to the police should have cause to arrest you first. Alex was speechless. He didn't dare give her the money now. Young man, you've said that you were willing to give me $100 for nothing. So just play with one of these girls. Why not? Which one of them do you like? I promise they'll serve you well. The procuress winked at the prostitutes on the sofa, and they started flirting with him. Handsome boy, come on, don't be shy. I know what you're thinking. I promise that if you give me 1 minute, I'll make you turn into a beast. How about the 6 of us serve you together and make you emperor once again? How are you feeling, young man? You see, you've made my girls want to have a group encounter with you, so you better promise me. The procuress smiled at him. This has been done many times before. Don't be afraid. No, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm gonna leave, Alex said. The more he looked at the women on the sofa, the more disgusted he felt. Their frivolous words made Alex feel especially nauseous. He didn't want to stay there for a moment longer, so he pushed the woman aside, opened the door, and went out. Ouch! When Alex pushed the woman, he staggered and nearly fell down. Bert, quick, catch that boy! Her husband didn't expect Alex to be so stubborn. He spat and ran out of the house immediately and grabbed Alex's jacket. You want to start a fight with me? Will you stay here tonight or not? Bert asked him. Alex didn't feel afraid of him. He had destroyed 2 criminal gangs in New York, the Azure Dragon Society and the Flag Sect. This lady's husband seemed no more than a common gangster. I advise you to leave me alone right now, otherwise... Otherwise what? You're a poor working man. What do you think you're doing? Believe it or not, when I kill you, no one is going to come looking for you in Washington, the man said threateningly. Alex didn't need to talk to him anymore. His fists were clenched and ready to smash him in the nose. He was strong enough to deal with this middle-aged man. Let him go! Suddenly, a sharp rebuke rang out. Alex, the man and his wife, and the 6 prostitutes all looked in the direction of the sound. A small figure appeared in the dark alleyway. Seeing her face, Alex was shocked. It was Nellie, the girl he had met selling pancakes from a food truck. What are you doing screaming at me? Do you want me to slap you in the face? Bert yelled at her. Let him go! Nellie ignored the pimp's insult. Her attention was on Alex. Bert, don't pay any mind to the ugly girl. Take this boy into the house, the procuress said. You stinky woman, Nellie shouted at her. Girl, do you want to die? The pimp said. Several of the girls around him also began to scold her. Look at your clumsy appearance. How do you dare go out and face people? Not only are you ugly, but you stink. Go find yourself a boyfriend to talk to. If you don't outgrow your looks, you're not even going to be able to go shopping without scaring everyone you meet. Nellie glared at them fiercely, then snorted, and then looked at the lady's husband. Let him go, or I'll report you to the police. If you dare report me, I'll kill you, Bert cried out. So what are you waiting for? Girl, you don't want to live, do you? The procuress rolled up her sleeves and strode over to Nellie. She raised her hand and slapped her on the face and on the side of her head. Do you still want to call the police? Before Alex had a chance to react, Nellie spoke again. I'll call the newspaper. She raised her head. Her face was flushed, but there was no fear in her eyes. Not only do you run a prostitution ring, but you've added the crime of beating someone. I doubt you'll be able to escape the police net. You bitch! The procuress raised her hand and was ready to strike again. Let's fight. I'm telling you, if you don't manage to beat me to a pulp, I'll call the police when I get away. I won't give up without suing you. Do you think I'm afraid of them? How do you think I could be working here for such a long time if I were afraid of the police? The procuress roared. The group of prostitutes gathered around her. So, you're not afraid of the police? Prostitution is forbidden by the state, you know. How strong is your protection? This is all I have to say. If you don't let him go, I'll report you at the police station. And I want to add that if the police come, you will not be the only one to have bad luck. All the people on this street will be taken away with you. Nellie was proving to be quite fearless. The procuress glanced at her husband, who looked embarrassed. She didn't know how to end this situation. Bert, let the boy go. Don't ruin the business of the whole street. We're all the same here. We rely on the railway station, which brings in many people, Bert said. Nellie was determined to save Alex. Other prostitutes who had gathered around here were afraid that their business would be implicated, and they also began to persuade the lady and her husband to let him go. Bert bit his lips, sighed deeply, gave Alex a hard shove and pushed him away. Go away. You never come back here again. Let's go back inside, the pimp said to the girls. He had never witnessed such an ugly scene in his neighborhood, and he was afraid that the stubborn girl really would report them. Although the madam had no choice but to give up on Alex, she pointed at Nellie and said, Please come. I'll seek you out and break your leg.
Thank you for listening to Crown TV. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and turn on the notification button.